And we're on. This is the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Larkins, where we talk cheer, we talk life, and we talk whatever comes to mind. 5, 6, 7, 8, let's get started.
Turn it up, you tuning into Let's Talk Cheer with Jason Larkins. We're talking cheer, we're talking like you know we're always talking. So listen up, you boy, about to go all in. 5, 6, 7, 8, we're on, let's begin.
This is episode number 30. Not sure if there's going to be a 31, but thank you for joining us again. Our resident cheer mom, don't be less when you can be more, be more. Episode 30, let's go.
I know, right? Would you have ever thought when you started this podcast during full-blown quarantine that you'd be at episode 30?
No, I did not. Hence why we say, not sure if there's going to be, I thought it was going to be, not I thought, but I felt like I can do one. And we'll see where it takes off from there. Because, I have a friend, Shay Crawford, friend of the show, listens to the show religiously, probably our most dedicated fan. So shout out to Shay, the All-Star Cheer Tumble page, and Brandon All-Stars, everything he's connected to, right? But I talked to him the other day. It was a couple months ago now at this point. But he's like, I've tried a few things, right? Like a couple of YouTube channels and this and it starts and then you get with people's schedules and then all of a sudden you take a week off, 2 weeks off, and then it just, kind of dies out. And I had seen that a couple of times in the industry where something kind of starts and then it just kind of fizzles out. And so I don't think that I'm any, I know I'm just as fallible as all of my other peers that, life gets busy and, these things you kind of fizzle out. And we kind of weren't really consistent until you came on the show. Right. I was just kind of doing them anytime. Like I felt like I had something on felt like I could actually talk about something. I was like, I could talk about that. Time to make a podcast, but there was no actual real consistent, release, schedule. And then you came on and obviously that made us a lot more consistent. So we've been 10 times more consistent since you've came on. So without you, there would not be an episode number 30, at least not, it wouldn't be up today. So thank you, B More, for your contribution to the podcast and representing all of the other cheer moms and cheer parents out there, because, you're the reason why we're here at episode 30. So, can you believe that we've made it this far?
I didn't think that you'd eventually want me to be your sidekick, co-host, whatever you want to call me for this long. I figure it was just going to be like a one type thing, one and done.
Yeah.
But it definitely keeps me going. I get excited about it. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got a podcast. But then once we get going, it's fun. And I think for me, it's gotten easier just because I'm not working anymore. So it's like, oh yeah, sure. Podcasts on, whatever days we podcast on. So it's been fun. I think I've learned a lot of things from you, just hearing things, when we talk and you're like, oh, do you know this person or do you know this gym? I'm like, nope. And then you tell me about them. So that's pretty interesting. But episode 30, here we go, huh?
Episode 30. Yeah. And it's cool. I remember we did we've told this story on the podcast before, but we did the original Instagram live and you came on with that list of questions. And we went through, we knocked it out, and I was like, that was cool. And I was like, and at that time, I'm hurting for content for the podcast. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do the podcast. I just don't know what the heck we're going to talk about. I was like, well, that'd be a good segment for the podcast. Just have Brittany come on. I felt like we had good rapport in that Instagram live. Come on, let's do it. And I was like, man, I really think we could move forward, do it. And I just remember going back and forth. I'm bouncing this off of Ashley and my brother-in-law, her brother, right? And I'm thinking about asking Brittany to be on the podcast, for real. And, we're going and I just feel like it'd be so much easier to talk with someone, and Brittany and I have good rapport or whatever. So it's been good. And it was crazy. The other day I went back and listened to episode 1, 2 days ago. I went back and listened to episode 1. And I was so impressed with how solid of a episode it was. I'm expecting to go back and just be like, oh, that was although there are some things that we've cleaned up a lot since then. Like I listened to episode 1 and went, man, this is a solid this is a solid podcast, solid content. There are some things that definitely we've cleaned up since then, but like for our first episode, it's crazy. And here we are, episode 30. That was like a totally scripted podcast. And now we're here. And as you know, Brittany, just freestyling. It's just like, all right, what are we talking about today? I don't know.
Yeah.
Figure it out, I guess. We'll record and, we'll make magic happen. So here we are. As you guys notice, everyone on YouTube, I'm wearing my glasses right now. And I never wear my glasses outside of the house. Rarely do I wear them outside of the house. So I am getting LASIK surgery. And so I have my pre-op a week from today. And they said, Jason, you cannot wear your contacts for a whole week. We need your corneas to be nice and full. I guess contacts like flatten them out and they can't get the right measurement. So I'm getting LASIK. And B, you don't understand. I'm over contacts and glasses. Like, not really over glasses. Glasses like kind of get annoying here and there. But I'm over like putting my contacts in the morning, taking them out at night. Oh, I forgot to take my contacts out. You sleep in your contacts, your eyes get all gunky, and I'm just over the contact life. I've been doing it since I was in the 7th grade. And I'm so glad that I passed the first thing I had yesterday, and I will be getting LASIK surgery. So excuse my Clark Kent as pretty soon I'm going to be Superman up in here. So anyway.
So I don't wear glasses. When I was working, I mean, I have a set of glasses that I wore because I worked on the computers all day. So I have a set of glasses that I had to wear when I was, like looking at a screen.
Yeah.
Well, they had their prescription, but I could tell a difference when I squinted really bad when I was looking at the computer screen all day if I would like leave them at home or something. Yep. But I never wore contacts because it wasn't anything crazy. So have you ever like accidentally slept in your contacts?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh.
It's like all the time. I just sleep in them. And sometimes just like I'm just tired and I'll just want to lay down and then or I'm watching TV and I just fall asleep and I don't want to. Here's the hard part about just with me. If I fall asleep watching TV before I take out my contacts, if I wake up at 3 a.m. and decide and go, oh yeah, I got to take out my contacts. Like, it's not good to sleep in my contacts. If I take them out at 3 a.m., I won't go back to sleep. So I have to decide between, am I going to sleep with my contacts in the rest of the night and at least get a good night's sleep? Or should I, do what's best for the health of my eyes and take out my contacts, but then not sleep the rest of the night, So the struggle is real, B more.
I can't imagine. I mean,
yeah,
I'm excited for you. Totally happy. I mean, if you've been wanting it for so long, that will be very exciting. To be honest with you, I didn't even know that you had to wear like contacts all the time. Like, I've seen you in your glasses, but just figured it was, not like a crazy ordeal. Yeah. So I didn't know that you wore contacts all the time. So congratulations.
I can't see a thing. Like, I can't see anything. It's ridiculous. I went to work out this morning. See, let's talk. We're going to talk cheer, talk life, and anything that comes to mind, right? So I go to work out. But this is good because I heard this the other day that when you do, this isn't radio. Obviously, it's podcast and it's once a week. But when you do radio, you become part of these people's, your listeners, your audience's like lives. Like, they like put it on and they look forward to that, like, that drive to work. Oh, every morning, my drive to work, I always listen to this radio station and, you get used to the DJs or whatever. So people want to know what's going on in our lives. So anyway, but I go to work out this morning and we're doing handstand push-ups. I'm upside down. My glasses are flopping everywhere. And I decide, I'm just take off my glasses. Like, I can see okay enough where I can do a handstand push-up. And I'm upside down and I'm looking at the rest of the gym and I can't see a thing. I'm like, I'm that blind. I can't see. I can't read a word anywhere. Anyway, so I have bad eyes. Here we go. Enough about my eyes. How are you doing? Everything good with you?
Yeah, things are good. My husband, which you know him, Ryan, he actually started a new job yesterday.
Oh, crazy. There we go.
He has been wanting, like, he's been looking for, like, he's been wanting this job. He is a consultant for Era Energy in the oil fields. So it was pretty cool. Probably about this will be like 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks ago. One of the guys at Era called him, and he didn't reach out to them, didn't send him his resume. They came to him and they wanted to interview him. So they offered him the position on the spot. I remember that day because I think we actually just got done podcasting, and it was like 30 minutes after we were done podcasting, he's like, I need you to bring me these pants, these boots, this shirt out to Taft. I'm not going to have enough time to drive home and then drive all the way out to like Bell Ridge area to go to this interview. So I'm like, okay. So I hop in my car and I'm like making sure I got everything. And they offered him the job on the spot. He put that was maybe, I don't know. Anyways, on the following Monday, he put in his 2 weeks notice at his job that he had been at for 10 years. And his boss was a little like, he's like, I'm happy for you, but he's like, I'm surprised no one had picked you up like no one had picked you up yet. And then he went to this well control school last week and then started yesterday. So he's pretty stoked about that.
There we go.
But a lot of our listeners don't know. So he worked 27 days on, 2 days off. So he only had once every third weekend off. And that hindered him from going to cheer competitions or like making plans or anything like that. So now it's Monday through Friday, every weekend off. So we're looking through the cheer schedule. He's like, he's going to all the cheer competitions except for the one that we have in February, I think it is. It's like a Sunday, Monday. He's like, I'm not going to go to that one because, but other than that, like, we did also decide that I'm going to go to nail school. So I'll do lashes and nails. But here's the funny part. This is how much my life revolves around cheer. It's a 15-week class and course, and it's Tuesday through Saturday. Well, 15 weeks puts us kind of starting to get into cheer season. So, and you can't miss. Like you literally cannot miss. They're so strict. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll start at the end of April, beginning of May, because cheer season's going to ramp up. Like, and I can't, what am I going to do? Send my husband to braid the girls' hair?
Right. No, he'll be fine. He got it.
Yeah. So, but great things happening. The girls are doing good in school. And I think they're doing good in cheer. Nobody said anything to me. So just, pushing that daily grind and trying to be positive about everything that's going on in the world and our life. And, that's about it.
Mommy. Yeah. Well, some breaking cheer news, if you want to hear some cheer news going on in the world. So last year, I think it happened last year, might have been the year before. I don't know. All these years are merging together. But Jim Hill and Brian Elza leave Varsity. And these are two like top people. I think Brian Elza's general manager and Jim Hill is the like national director of sales, right? And if I mess those titles up, forgive me, right? But they're top people. Jim Hill's at Louisville when I was cheering at SFA. So we knew each other from way back in the day. And Brian Elza owned Kentucky Elite when I was still cheering. So we could be against Kentucky Elite all the time. Anyway, so there were tons of rumors going around of what happened, but they got let go of Varsity, right? Like these two top people got let go of Varsity last year or the year before, whatever it was, and they've been out of the game. Announced today. Now, this is going to seem like it's late news by time all the listeners hear it because we record obviously a week early. But as of today, they both started their own event, companies, right? So they're like running Varsity, get let go of Varsity, and now they're back to doing what they know how to do, running events. So, and they have two different event companies. So let's see. Let me read this. I'll mess it up. So Brian Elza has Liberty Spirit, and Jim Hill has Freedom Spirit. So if any of our listeners,
those names.
I
love those names.
Yeah, right. And it's crazy with the names like Freedom and Liberty, like they've liberated themselves or they're free of Varsity. So I thought that was I was like, oh man, shots fired in the names, like they're coming out swinging like that. Come on, guys. Yeah. They're playing for keeps apparently. So Brian, Jim, holla at your boy, come on the podcast, come talk to us about these events, what's going on. And real quick, I gotta say this too. Varsity, come holla at us. We're,
I, as a parent, have so many questions, Varsity. Like, I mean, if I really, like, off the top of my head, I only have like one or two, but if I sat down, yes, that'd be so great, wouldn't it be?
It would be. So I will say this, because I know we've had most of our guests, almost, I guess all of our guests have not been associated with Varsity. And so we kind of get this, I kind of feel that we get this reputation that we're like an anti-varsity, whatever, group or podcast. So I will say, I have extended an invitation out to someone at Varsity who politely declined. But if anyone else from Varsity is out there who's listening, I would 100% love to have you on the show. And we'll talk about, cheer and life and all those good things. And, we'll make it a great positive experience. So if you know someone from Varsity should be on the show, tag them. And if you're listening and you got contact information for Brian or Jill, tag them in this too. Let them know they should come on the show, and we'll talk. And Brian and Jim, get some events out here on the West Coast. Get some real great staple events out here on the West Coast. I know that the West Coast, and again, I'm not anti-varsity, but I do know that the West Coast is kind of short on independent event producers not associated with Varsity that put on great production. So come out here to the West Coast. We would love to support you guys and give some different experiences to our families. Please check the calendar and the date in which you do these things. We had to come up with the competition schedule this year, and I've told a few people this. I wish we would have done one more IEP independent event on the schedule this year, just to try some new things. And we do jams about three times a year. We do an opener here in Bakersfield, we do nationals, and then we'll do a closer out in Irvine. And I wanted to do one more live event by an independent event producer. I'm really thinking about Gold Rush, but Gold Rush was the week after NCA. So if you're one of our families, we have jams, and then some of our jams families have to go to Dallas because of crossovers. And then we have Dallas. And then the week after that is when the Gold Rush event in Las Vegas. And I didn't want to do like those 3 back-to-back events like that. So Gold Rush, I doubt anyone from Gold Rush is listening, but maybe you are. Hey, maybe Heidi's listening right now. Shout out to Heidi with the Open Championships, Open Championship Series. So if you hear this, Heidi, and whoever's doing Gold Rush, tell them to move that to any other weekend in March. And American Cheer will be there. Also, Jim, take note. Brian, take note. Come out here, and I guess they're doing Open Championship Series. So anyway, lots of movement going on in the cheering. Things are shaking up again after I didn't know things were going to get shaken up anymore. So,
well, that's exciting for them. Congratulations for them. Speaking of like competitions, is there any competition that's like coastal, like very coastal, here in California?
West Coastal, like on the beach? Yeah, bring it on at the beach. That was a joke to myself because none of our listeners are going to get that joke. Back in the day, California All-Stars used to run a event. It was like a fundraiser event, right? It was just California All-Stars put on an event called Bring It On at the Beach. So did you ever see the original Bring It On?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So where they filmed the original Bring It On is where that was in California, like Oceanside. Mm-hmm. So that, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's an amphitheater or what we would call that venue or whatever. But that's in, California All-Stars used to host an event. Oh, this is a great story, actually. So California All-Stars used to host an event at that pier in Oceanside, right?
Yeah.
And that first season we did, so this is back when I was cheering. So that first season we did it, we were the closeout show because, I'm on co-ed and we were supposed to close out the night, the final performance. And it was already, the sun was setting by time we were supposed to perform, which is no big deal. There was lights out there. But like the dew or the condensation, the moisture in the air, some scientists can correct me on that, but the moisture in the air started getting on the mats. The mats became super slick and just wet. And so it was like not good. Teams are out there slipping, sliding all over the place. And, we're supposed to close out the night. And Tanaz was like, yeah, y'all aren't performing. Like, y'all, they can perform because they paid money to be here, but co-ed, y'all aren't performing. And, we're all bummed. They're like, no, wow, we wanted to perform. And like, I ain't risking you guys out there tearing ACL. So, so that was a coastal event. Shout out to Bring On at the Beach, old school. Everyone old school remembers that event. But is there any other event on the beach? I don't.
It'd be so cool to go to one of those. Like, I think a lot of our parents would enjoy it. If there is. I mean, I have so much say in our competition schedule.
Yeah, I know, because you get all the secrets.
But I think it'd be cool to go and experience one of those. You see them on TV or in movies, and I know they really exist. But it'd be cool to go to one of those, in the future or something like that.
Don't you remember? We went to Myrtle Beach last year. You don't remember that?
Oh, I remember that one. That was probably one of my favorite competitions, that probably top 3 that we've ever went to. And I don't know if it was just because we were, middle of a pandemic and we hadn't had any live competition, or if it was the experience. I mean, that was a really fun town. I'm really glad that you guys picked that place. I think every single one of our families and all you coaches and everything had a good time.
Yeah.
So
I had a good time. It was a little chilly. Like, I wish the weather was better that weekend. And I remember asking, is it usually this cold this time of year? He's like, no, it's actually like really cold right now for whatever reason. But other than the weather being kind of chill, it rained like one of those mornings. So other than the weather, I thought it was a really good event. Like, I really like the city that I was in. I thought the event, I thought they did a decent job with the event. So, but yeah, it was a good time. I don't know if they have one on the West Coast though, not in California. No, maybe we should host an event. The Let's Talk Cheer competition in Pismo. We'll have it in Pismo. It'll be great. We'll all go to Splash and Brad's and,
How fun would that be? Okay, speaking of weather in Myrtle Beach, I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but so we were leaving and I had this brand new, like, big, like, warm jacket, right? And it was like I don't know if it's called a parka or whatever it's called, but it's like it went past your knees, right? And I'm short, like super short. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm so excited. I'll get to wear it because here in Bakersfield, we don't get like that cold of weather. I left that jacket on the table. And the only other jacket I had worn, like a oversized, like, sweatshirt, and then I bought I brought another little, like, knitted type sweatshirt. So nothing like too crazy warm. And then this one that I brought, like, it was like my comfy sweatshirt to wear. And I get over there and I'm like, where the heck is my jacket? So I'm stuck wearing this oversized hoodie all weekend long. Oh my gosh, that was torturous. But hopefully we get some cooler weather so I can wear that jacket.
Hopefully. There are certain shoes I only wear with pants that I cannot ever wear because we're in Bakersfield. I'm like, I gotta wait until November to wear these shoes. So anyway.
Yeah, definitely. All your Jordans. Hey, shout out to all my Uggs that I can never wear either.
Yeah.
But we are supposed to have, it's supposed to be, I looked at my calendar, my weather app earlier, and it said that it was supposed to be like 68 degrees on Friday.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty cool. Like, I'm actually really surprised at how cool it's been in Bakersfield lately. So,
Yeah. So
but all right, here we go. What else we got? Let's see. Let's see what else we got. I guess we can get into the question of the week. Want to get into that right now?
yeah. So
All right.
question of the week. Do you know who it's from? I'm not sure who it's from.
Well, it came up. It came up on Instagram, and it was a while ago, and so I don't remember who posted it, but it is a father. So that's what I know. But if you have a question for the question of the week, guys, send in your questions. You can send them into at Jason Larkin on Instagram. You can send them into b.more __ on Instagram. Send in those questions. We love to answer those questions. Again, they drive the show.
This week's question of the week comes to us by Black Boys Cheer. Black Boys Cheer is a megaphone for black and brown male cheerleaders everywhere in the industry. Their goal is to provide mentorships, scholarships, mental health resources for black and brown male cheerleaders who might not otherwise have access to them. So if you're a black or brown male cheerleader looking or needing one of these resources, or you're someone looking to donate to this nonprofit organization, please reach out to Black Boys Cheer on Facebook or on Instagram.
So question of the week by a dad, which I think this might be one of the first ones by a dad, so that's pretty cool. Have you ever had a rude cheer dad upset if their son or daughters don't make a certain level?
Have I ever had a cheer dad or a rude cheer dad upset that their son daughter didn't make a certain level? Yeah. In general, yes. As you can imagine, or as I'm sure you can guess just by context clues, most of my interactions are with the moms. Typically, I'll talk to a dad, and I want to say typically. It happens often where I'll talk to a dad who has zero clue what's going on. And he'll just say, yeah, my wife takes care of everything. This is what my wife does with our daughter. And I do, baseball with our son. Like that, I take care of baseball with my son, and the wife takes care of, cheer with our daughter. Right. And that happens all of the time. So most of my interactions with dads are usually pretty good. But there are some dads who are really involved, who just want, who are just super involved, more involved than, obviously some of our moms. Typically, and I don't want to stereotype, but, I'm just saying, I'm using generalizations right now. So I know a dad who does this or doesn't do that, or a mom who does. I'm just using generalizations. In general, I guess this could be for a couple of different reasons. When a dad is upset, we tend to have more conversation than if a mom is like really, really upset. Like if a mom is like really, really upset, there'll be more emotion, a little bit more like yelling. I don't want to say yelling, but just more emotion involved in the conversation. And dads will be upset, but there'll be more conversation. Now, they might not agree with me, but there'll still be more like back and forth, like conversation that happens. I remember this one time. I can't remember. I know exactly who the parents are, but I can't remember what they were upset about. It must have been maybe the team she was on or something. I think it was the team she was on. And we had this conversation, and the mom just yelled the entire time. And the dad sat there with like his hands, for those of you who can see me, sat there like with his hands, like just like clasped or clapped, closed together in front of his face, and just sat there and just like listened the whole time. And just like, and I was like, I feel like he feels really uncomfortable in this situation because she was just reaming me. And, he spoke eventually and said, I understand where my wife sees things. I understand how you see things. It was like a very but he just for an hour, she's just yelling at me, and he just kind of sat there the whole time. So that's typically but there are upset dads. But in general, the dads who do talk tend to want to solve the problem and just go, okay, well, what can we do to fix this? Okay, she needs to do this. Okay, I'll make sure she does that. Do you understand? Susie, do you understand what he's talking about right now? Yes, mm-hmm. I understand that. Okay, well, we're going to make sure that we do that. And, there tends to be. So that typically is up with when I deal with dads versus moms, at least the extreme. Not every mom is like that, but there are, when I compare the most extreme moms to the most extreme dads, that's what I typically get. So that
is very interesting, because I feel like, I could go like full blown mama bear. I kind of feel like in like the situation that you were just talking about, like the dad is like wants to like solve the problem. I feel like I want to solve the problem, and I let my husband be the bad guy. It's the truth. Thankfully, like, we don't ever have any issues at cheer. The girls used to be like, Daddy, can you tell you know this, can you tell Coach Jason? He's like, I ain't telling Coach Jason nothing. Yeah. But then when it comes to like school, like, I've already been to the school like 3 times, which my kids never get in trouble at school. And there was, some issues, and I went down there, and finally I'm like, I am not doing this anymore. You can go down there, and you can, because the school's not listening to me at this point. You can go down there. Oh, everything was solved after 5 minutes in the principal's office. So, but yeah, I could more so, especially I think in the cheer world, see how it's more moms than it is dads. I think when you venture out like with the boys and you get into like football, baseball, wrestling, I think it's more of the dads.
Oh yeah, for sure. And some of that communication, because again, I don't want to stereotype and have someone go, oh, Jason thinks this all about moms. Some of it can just be communication style. It could just be that I simply connect better with dads just because we're both male, right? And we just, there's a really good analogy I always use when I talk to Ashley, or when Ashley and I like talk with each other, is we have to remember that my brain, and Ashley and I always talk about this, my brain is like waffles and her brain is like spaghetti. And, waffles have all their little certain compartments, and everything is like nice and neat. And guys have more the ability to compartmentalize and go, okay, I had a bad day at work, but I'm not going to let my bad day at work necessarily affect, my home life, or I'm not going to let my home life. And this happens a lot where people, like, something bad happen, and guys are able just to kind of go, they tend to be able to separate incidents in their lives and there's not a lot of crossover, versus spaghetti where every noodle is touching every other noodle. So all of those things have an impact on a woman's life more than a man's. Not saying that women aren't able to compartmentalize, or that guys don't let personal matters affect their work, or work matters affect their personal lives. But guys just have to a degree, better separate those things than women do, right? So, but this is a great example. Joey was sick with a fever, and this weekend she was sick, and Ashley didn't go in and coach yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I can't be at the gym if Joey's home sick. Like, I'm not, I'm homesick too, right? I'm there with Joey, and me, I'm like, Joey's sick. There's nothing really I can do about it. So, I can sit there and be with her, but there's nothing really I can do with it, about it besides, I don't know, whatever. So I'm like, well, I'm going to work, and for this time, I'm going to stay focused on these kids and do that. And I was just like, good. That's actually, I wasn't even going to bring that up, but that's that.
Well, let me ask you something. I totally understand. Like you and Ashley are in the same line of work. You work for this. It's you too, So I get Ashley's perspective of Joey's sick. She has to stay home. That's what a mom does, like 99% of the time, you know? So one of you has to go there. But here's my question to you. You were doing the waffle and spaghetti thing. Do you literally tell her that she has a spaghetti brain?
I don't say she has a spaghetti brain. No, we've actually had this conversation before. Like when we first, I don't go, you spaghetti brain.
Okay, because here's the thing. There is very few people that intimidate me. Literally very few people. And Ashley is one of them. Why? I have no idea, because none of my interactions with her have ever been terrible. She's always so sweet, so friendly. I mean, so good to the girls. There's just something about that woman. For some reason, she intimidates me, but I love her. She's just like the happiest person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you better not call her spaghetti brain, because
yeah. And you know, and it's not meant to be a derogatory, you know, statement. Because when it was first explained to me, or when I first heard it, you know, heard the concept, it was like, that's why women are so much better at multitasking. Like they're able to hold the phone and carry the baby and cook dinner all at the same time, because they're able to multitask because of the spaghetti brain, because all of these things touch each other, right? And that makes sense. I am Ashley 100% knows. I'm a lot more like, when Ashley needs stuff done, I go, Ashley, you've got to put it on a list for me. Put it on a list. I will knock the list out, and I'll make sure I go X, you know, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, or whatever. Right. And that's just kind of how, like, my brain is wired to be very like methodical and logical and A, B, C, like that. While Ashley is a 10 times better multitasker than I am, and is able to get all these other things done. So it wasn't meant to be derogatory. It's that part might have been, I guess, right? But it's just about women's ability to multitask and have their emotions more involved in all of their decisions, while men leave more to make less emotional decisions, which obviously both of those things have their strengths and their weaknesses, right? So, which means Ashley would have been far better taking care of Joey yesterday because of the emotional side, just straight having empathy and sympathy for Joey, while I would have just been like, well, what do you want me to do, kid? There's nothing we can do. You got snotty nose, I'll wipe your snotty nose. Yeah, right, you know? So.
Oh, gosh.
But, you know, there was something else I was going to say about that whole thing.
Before I rudely interrupted you. Sorry.
No, I remember I wanted to stop and say, hold on, like, let me say this right now so I don't forget, but I continued. And while I continued, I forgot, and I should have said, hold on. And then, you know, so anyway, maybe something else will hit me later. But
that's why this is real and raw, right?
Yeah, raw, real. Here we go. So again, if you have questions for the question of the week, send them in. Instagram. Oh, I was going to say Twitter, but I guess you could tweet me, but I haven't gone on Twitter in forever. So, but Instagram at Jason Larkins. Brittany, what is it? B.more triple underscore. That actually sounds pretty cool. B.more triple underscore. And send us up with those questions. All right. Be more. You ready for the we got the quote of the week?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Quote of the week. This is the Sounds Like That quote of the week. Sounds Like That is the official music producer for the Sounds Like That podcast, for the Let's Talk Cheer podcast, and all of our American cheer tracks. So if you're interested in getting music by Sounds Like That and KC Fresh Marlowe, click the link in the description or in the show notes, and someone will get back to you about getting music done by Sounds Like That. Music is coming up here soon. We actually have the three. I won't tell you who the three first teams are, but we have 3 teams scheduled, not to get music this week, but to turn in their count sheets this week. And after you turn in count sheets, we can get music anytime after that. So 3 teams. We should get music within the next, I'm guessing, 2 weeks. So get ready for that, Be More.
How exciting. I'll be listening to it on replay, I'm sure.
Let's go. You can follow us on SoundCloud. Not us, Let's Talk Cheer, but American Cheer on SoundCloud. American Cheer __. Yeah, American Cheer _ is already taken. So anyway, here we go. Quote of the week. All right, guys. So as we are getting into full out routines and preparing the teams for full outs, I've said this to the teams all week and will continue to say this. This actually got this from my sister. So old Andrea Glass. It can be hard now and easy later, or easy now and hard later. So, I've said that to the teams these last couple of weeks as we're just trying to get our bodies like ready for conditioning. And I know conditioning is not fun, and it's not, it's not why you signed up for cheer. Like, oh, I'm going to sign up for cheer so I can condition all the time and, do burpees and all these things. But in order for us to actually be able to go out there and hit a routine, we actually have to have endurance, strength, right? All those things to actually, stamina, to actually go out there and hit these things. And so we have to make a decision as coaches and as athletes. Like, we can decide to have easy practices now, but it's gonna, it's gonna come a point where we have to actually throw full out routines and be conditioned for them and make it hard later. Or we can go hard now and it can be easy for us later. So, it's all about that, the ability to delay gratification and just go, I'm going to put in all of my effort right now, even if it's hard. Like, I'm going to wake up a better, stronger person tomorrow. So coaches out there listening, make the decision. Hard now, easy later, easy now, hard later. And yeah, there we go. Quote of the week. So
I like that one. I think it's pretty good. I think it comes back to, like, if you're taking shortcuts, then you're just going to have, like, why not get through it now and let it be? Yeah. I don't know what I was trying to say, but that's a good one, Jason. I like it.
Thanks. Be more. Here's a question off the cuff. You making any sacrifices right now? So it's hard now, so it could be easy later? What you got going on? Or something you should sacrifice so it's easy later?
I don't know if I'm, like, sacrificing anything right now. Maybe my sleep, because I got to get up and make my kids breakfast.
Yeah.
I just feel like in my life right now, things are falling into place. I don't feel like I'm making any sacrifices so things can be easier. I feel like everything is just like what me and my husband have, like, planned for our life. Like, things are falling into place right now. Yeah. For me, I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was able to, but I just didn't want to, like, realistically. So now I enjoy getting up in the morning, even though I kind of don't, making the girls breakfast, making their lunches, helping them with their hair, getting them off to school. But I don't think I'm making any sacrifices right now. I mean, there's probably things I could be making sacrifices on, but no. What about you?
I think, most recently, Ashley and I, the cheer coach life is basically my schedule has always, well, since I've been an American, pretty much come into the gym around noon or 1, coach until, do my admin work, coach until 9:00. And that was pretty much my schedule weekly, right? We had Joey mixed with kind of the pandemic, and that kind of changed a little bit, but I do more admin at home than I did previous years. And but it was pretty easy life to not to be at work until noon or so, between noon and 1, and then go whatever. But we had all day to kind of figure out what we needed and wanted to do. Wake up, do whatever we wanted until noon or 1. Obviously, Joey takes a lot of time, effort, and attention. So it's been, the transition going from doing whatever we wanted to do before noon to now Joey, all this attention. Okay, and now how do I get all these other things in that I want to do with my life, right? Working out for both of us was always like, okay, are we, we just both go, wake up, work out, do whatever we wanted. And now it's like, okay, I'm going to go work out. You watch Joey. okay, now I'm going to work out and you watch Joey. Okay, now, someone's got to feed her. Now we got to take her here. Now we got to do all these things. And obviously, still the house has to be maintained, right? There's still laundry and dishes and, just the house in general, all these other things, right? And so obviously, how busy it is to have kids. And I'm guessing almost, 90% of our listeners know how busy it is to actually have kids, right? So the big thing, that's why I wanted to do, I've said this multiple times now, but that miracle morning, like waking up before everyone else, like that's like been my biggest thing that I've decided to like make a real change in my life. Is like, I'm just going to wake up earlier. And I don't really want to wake up at 5 a.m., but I know that I need to in order to get things done in my life, right? If I want to like accomplish, like if I want to reach these goals, I have to find time for them. And my mom used to say this all the time to me growing up. Jason, you always have time to do the things you want to do. And she would say that to me, like, hey, Jason, like, why didn't you do your homework? Oh, I didn't have time. So, oh, well, you had time to go outside and play. You had time to play video games. Like, you always have time to do the things you want to do. And so I just haven't, and I'm sure I've said that on the podcast before, but I just haven't tried. I've tried not to let not having time like really be an excuse in my life, because my mom used to say, hey, if you want to do something, like you'll make time for it. So, if there's things I want to do, and even though Joey's here and we had the gym, like literally, not literally, but the human race has been going this long and they're very, very successful people. And lots of those people had kids, and like having kids isn't an excuse not to be able to accomplish goals. You just got to, stop doing you have to sacrifice some other things so that you can accomplish what you're really trying to accomplish. This is a great quote that I told the kids last week too. But most people, how's it go? Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they give up what they want now or they give up what they want most for what they want now. And they just don't have the ability to delay gratification and say, you know what? I'm going to not do this right now. And I tell this joke to the kids all the time. Back in college, I worked out all the time. I was decent. I was in pretty good shape in college, right? Had some muscles here and there. And I tell the kids all the time, I don't say all the time, but I've told them a few times, if I really, really wanted a six pack, I'd have a six pack. Like I want a six pack, but like, I don't like really want it. Like if I really wanted it, like really, really wanted it, I know what I need to do to have a six pack. I can't eat, crumble cookies whenever I want. I can't come home. I can't leave the gym and go get Mexican food, with extra cheese on it. Like I know those things aren't good. I love ice cream. I love popsicles. And if I truly wanted a six pack, like I would eliminate those things from my diet. I just kind of want a six pack. Like if I had the choice, hey, Jason, you want a six pack or not? Oh yeah, I'll take the six pack. But if I really, really wanted it, I would do my crunches every day. I would be disciplined with my eating. And that's all it really takes, disciplined eating and working out. But I just kind of want it. And until I'm ready to truly sacrifice what I want now for what I want later, then I'll just kind of be kind of in shape, right? The guy who can wear a tank top but not take his shirt off. So, I don't know, just talking. Here we go.
What was the quote that people will make time for what they really want to do?
What my mom said, yeah.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. And then it's funny that you said that, because last week or the week before, I saw something that said, you get invited to barbecues or holiday parties or things like that. And at first you're like, yeah, we'll go. But then when it comes time to it, you say like, oh, well, something came up, but nothing came up. You just didn't really want to go. So instead of saying, oh, something came up, you just flat out tell them like, hey, I actually just don't want to go. I'm not feeling it. I feel like those kind of go like hand in hand, and I really like that you make time for what you really want to do quote. Because truly, if someone truly wants to do something, they will do it. I go back to my daughters and flying. If they really want to fly, they will stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to force them to. Like, they will learn the repercussions of their actions at practice when they have to run, and their pod has to run because of them. Like, I can only do so much, and I need them to learn the consequences of their actions from other people. You know what I mean? So I really like that one. That's kind of cool that your mom told you that growing up and everything.
Yeah,
so
that she did. So we had quote of the week from my mom and my sister just now, all in one.
Yeah.
There we go. So all right, B More. I think we've talked for a while.
Yeah.
You ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah. Episode 30 was a good one.
Episode 30. Here we go. So people, be sure if you like the podcast, you're enjoying the podcast, actually like the podcast. Share it with someone. If you don't want to share it on your Facebook, you don't want it on your timeline, that's fine. Send a text message to someone, say, hey, I think you'd really enjoy this podcast. If you're a gym owner or a coach, share this with your parents and let them know. Don't, maybe you want to send them a specific episode where I'm kind of talking about the things you're talking about at the gym. So go ahead and do that, but share this, like this, subscribe to the podcast. And also, I mentioned this last time, if you want to support the podcast financially, you actually want to make a financial donation contribution to the podcast, there's a link in the description. You can do that there. You can do it for as little as 99 cents a month, right? You can donate to us. We'll use that 99 cents, and I will not even be able to buy a Big Mac. Remember, you used to be able to buy a Big Mac for $1. Can't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
Inflation got us.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. So now we're gonna read this last thing. Ratings and reviews. Be sure to leave a 5-star rating. Leave a review. And this week's 5-star rating comes to us from Meg Low 1985. She's preoccupied. 1985. Anyway, talking cheer is just what the people need. We absolutely love listening to Jason and Brittany on each and every podcast. It's the perfect balance of well-versed coach and cheer mom life. After coaching for many years and now transitioning into cheer parents, this podcast hits all the right places. We love your insight into the industry and your passion in bringing it to the masses. We admire your positivity and look forward to every episode. Stop saying, 2 weeks in a row they're saying this, stop saying, not sure if there's going to be another episode, because there is. Keep it going, the Marlows. Shout out to the Marlows. Love you guys. And I don't know, we got anything else, B More?
Nope. Thank you for that 5-star rating and the review. That was good to hear. I don't know if we could ever stop the not sure if there's going to be another one.
Yeah.
Just because it's like part of it now,
We're too deep in.
Yeah.
Too deep in. So, all right, but if you want another episode, show some love, show some support, hit the like button, hit the share button, and support the sponsors of the show. It's another great way to do it. But all right, be more. Until episode 31, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We're out.
Boom, we're out.